Alone in the void, Commander Ilara Vos stared at the holographic displays surrounding her command chair, their usual calming azure glow now flashing urgent crimson warnings. Her slender four-fingered hands moved with practiced precision across the neural interface panels, but each attempt only confirmed what she already knew. Her ship, the Luminous Accord, was dying. "Computer, status report," she commanded, her melodic voice steady, despite the fear constricting her chest. "Primary systems failure. Quantum drive inoperable. Hull integrity at 62% and declining. Life support transitioning to emergency protocols. Estimated duration of sustainable life support, 46 hours. Ilara closed her large, almond-shaped eyes, their iridescent silver momentarily hidden as she processed this information. The diplomatic vessel hadn't been designed for emergencies. It was a symbol of Cyrilian elegance and technological superiority, sleek, efficient, and beautiful. Now it drifted helplessly through the void, over 300 light-years from the nearest Cyrilian outpost. The unexpected asteroid strike shouldn't have been catastrophic. Cyrilian ships possessed the most advanced shield technology in known space, but the strange radiation emanating from the nearby pulsar had created an unforeseen vulnerability, allowing a relatively small impact to cascade into system-wide failures. Pulling herself from these thoughts, Ilara accessed the navigational system. This region was largely unmapped by Cyrilian standards, a remote sector bordering what most civilized species considered the galactic frontier. The Cyrilian High Council wouldn't have sent her here if not for the urgent diplomatic mission to the Altarian Collective, whose support was crucial for the upcoming Galactic Concord vote. Now that mission would fail. Worse, she would die here, alone among the stars. "Computer, scan for any signs of civilization within emergency transmission range." "Scanning," the computer responded, its voice a perfect simulation of Cyrilian calm. No Cyrilian vessels detected. No allied species outposts found. 3 unidentified structures detected at maximum sensor range. Signatures suggest artificial construction. Ilara's silver eyes widened. "Identify construction origin if possible." A pause. Then, "Limited data suggests human manufacturing patterns. Likelihood, 87.3%. Humans." Ilara felt her crest of fine, translucent filaments flatten against her skull, an involuntary expression of dismay among her people. Of all the species she might encounter in her final hours, it would be the boisterous newcomers to the galactic community. The Cyrilian civilization had observed Earth for millennia, watching as humans stumbled through their violent history. They were primitives by any reasonable standard, loud, emotional, and unsophisticated. Their achievements in space travel were barely 2 centuries old, a blink compared to the Cyrilians' 8,000 years of interstellar exploration. Yet somehow, humans had expanded with astonishing speed, establishing outposts and mining operations in regions other species avoided. Their ships were ungainly, their technology inelegant, relying on brute force solutions where Cyrilian engineers would create elegant quantum algorithms. As a senior diplomat, Ilara had studied human culture extensively, but always from a distance. The Cyrilian High Council considered direct interaction premature. Humans were still proving themselves worthy of formal recognition among the elder races of the galaxy. "Computer, what is our protocol regarding contact with human vessels in emergency situations?" Protocol 87 Delta permits emergency contact with non-allied species under life-threatening circumstances. No specific guidelines exist for human interaction, as such contact has been deemed unlikely by the Council. Of course, the Council, in its ancient wisdom, had never imagined a scenario where a Cyrilian diplomat would require human assistance. For several hours, Ilara attempted to repair the most critical systems herself. Cyrilians weren't natural engineers. Their society was highly specialized, with each individual trained from birth for specific functions. As a diplomat, Ilara could speak 17 galactic languages and recite the customs of 32 spacefaring species, but her knowledge of quantum propulsion was rudimentary at best. Her efforts only accelerated the ship's power depletion. As the temperature dropped and the lights dimmed to conserve energy, Ilara faced her decision: pride or survival. The choice that no Cyrillian should have to make. Computer, activate Universal Distress Beacon. Warning: Universal Distress Beacon will be detectable by all vessels within 3 light years, including non-allied and potentially hostile species. Activate anyway, Ilara commanded, her voice barely audible even to herself. The beacon activated, sending pulses of energy outward into the void. Now all she could do was wait, her body wrapped in ceremonial robes for warmth as the life support system struggled to maintain minimal heat. By the second day, frost had formed on the inner walls of the command center. Ilara had retreated to the meditation chamber, the smallest room on the vessel, where she could conserve what little heat remained. She sat cross-legged, practicing ancient breathing techniques to slow her metabolism and preserve oxygen. She was recording what she believed would be her final testament when the computer interrupted. Incoming transmission. Unknown vessel approaching. Ilara's eyes snapped open. Display. The holographic display flickered weakly, showing an approaching ship. Its design was utterly utilitarian. All exposed metal and functional angles, lacking the biomimetic elegance of Cyrillian architecture. Unmistakably human. Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Maya Hernandez of the United Earth ship Pathfinder. We've received your distress call and are moving to assist. Please respond if you're able. The voice was surprisingly gentle, the words carefully pronounced in passable galactic standard. Ilara hesitated, decades of diplomatic training battling with centuries of cultural prejudice. This is Commander Ilara Vos of the Cyrillian Diplomatic Court. She finally responded, her voice weaker than she'd intended. My vessel has suffered catastrophic system failure. Life support is critical. She swallowed her pride. I request assistance. Understood, Commander Vos. We're 8 minutes from your position. Our medical team is preparing for potential hypothermia treatment. Please hold on. We're coming to get you. As the communication ended, Ilara leaned back against the frosted wall. Help was coming, but from humans, the last species in the galaxy she would have chosen to be indebted to. The docking procedure was inelegant by Cyrillian standards. The human ship extended a flexible tunnel that sealed against her airlock with mechanical clamps rather than the quantum-bonded fields used by advanced species. She heard metallic sounds, hammering, and the hiss of pressure seals. Before her airlock doors slid open, 3 figures entered, wearing environmental suits that looked impossibly bulky to Ilara's eyes. The lead figure approached carefully and knelt beside her. Commander Vos, I'm Dr. Samira Khan. We need to get you to our medical bay immediately. The human's voice was distorted through her helmet, but the concern was evident. Can you stand? Ilara tried to rise, but found her limbs unresponsive, her body temperature too low for proper function. Without hesitation, 2 of the humans lifted her, one supporting her shoulders, the other her legs, an intimate contact that would be considered shocking in Cyrillian society. The journey through the docking tunnel was disorienting. Ilara glimpsed stars through transparent sections, then the utilitarian interior of the human vessel. Everything was loud, footsteps echoing on metal floors, voices calling out in their harsh human language, machinery humming behind wall panels. After the serene quiet of Cyrillian environments, it was overwhelming. The medical bay was warm, wonderfully, uncomfortably warm. Dr. Khan worked efficiently, connecting monitoring devices and administering treatments while explaining each step. Another human, a tall male with dark skin, observed from a respectful distance. Commander Vos, I'm Captain Maya Hernandez, she said, stepping forward. Ilara realized her earlier assumption had been wrong. The captain was the tall human, not the doctor. Your ship is secure. We've established a tau connection and are running diagnostics now. Ilara tried to respond with proper diplomatic formality, but only managed a whispered, "Thank you." "Save your strength," Captain Hernandez replied. "Dr. Khan is the best physician in the fleet. You're in good hands." As warmth returned to her body and medication dulled the pain, Ilara observed the humans with growing curiosity. They moved with purpose, communicated efficiently, and showed none of the hesitation one might expect when dealing with an alien species. Most surprising was their apparent lack of deference to her status. To them, she wasn't Commander Ilara Vos, senior diplomat of one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. She was simply a patient requiring help. It was both humbling and, in a strange way, refreshing. As medication pulled her towards sleep, Ilara's last conscious thought was to wonder what other surprises these unexpected rescuers might have in store. Unexpected allies. Ilara woke to unfamiliar sounds, the soft beeping of medical equipment, the low hum of air circulation, and the occasional voice speaking in hushed tones. All of it seemed too present, too immediate compared to the subtle soundscape of Cyrillian environments. "Good morning," a voice said. Ilara turned to see Dr. Khan entering the room. "Or at least what passes for morning on a starship. Your readings have improved significantly." Ilara took a moment to assess her condition. The biting cold had receded, replaced by a comfortable warmth. Her breathing came easily now, and the pain that had wrapped around her chest had faded to a dull ache. "Thank you for your care," she said formally, her voice stronger than before. Dr. Khan smiled. "Just doing my job. I synthesized nutrients compatible with your physiology based on the medical database. Not a Cyrillian feast, but it should help you regain strength." Ilara accepted a small cup of blue gel. It lacked the complex flavor architecture of Cyrillian cuisine, but was surprisingly palatable. "You have information on Cyrillian biology?" she asked, unable to hide her surprise. "Some basics from the Galactic Medical Exchange." "Not nearly enough." The doctor checked something on her tablet. "We're largely improvising, but your body seems to be responding well." Before Ilara could respond, Captain Hernandez entered with a shorter human female. "Commander Vos, good to see you awake," the captain said. "This is our chief engineer, Dr. Layla Chandra." The engineer stepped forward, her movements quick and decisive. "I've been examining your ship. Fascinating design, though the quantum matrices are unlike anything I've worked with before." Ilara stiffened. "You've been inside my vessel." "Had to," Layla replied unapologetically. "It's unstable in tau. The quantum fluctuations are creating micro-rifts in local space-time. Nothing dangerous yet, but better addressed sooner than later." The casual mention of quantum fluctuations from a human engineer was surprising enough. The idea that she had diagnosed potential space-time rifts was astonishing. "Your technology is more advanced than I was led to believe," Ilara said carefully. Layla laughed. "Probably not by your standards. But we catch on quick." After Dr. Khan cleared her for limited activity, Ilara was escorted to the engineering section. Walking through the human ship was an education, where Cyrillian vessels were designed around principles of harmony and aesthetic perfection. The Pathfinder was purely functional, yet there was a rhythm to the apparent chaos. Crew members moved with purpose, systems hummed with efficiency, and despite the utilitarian design, there were small touches of humanity everywhere. Personal items at workstations, artwork on corridor walls, plants growing in hydroponic containers. The engineering bay was vast compared to the elegant simplicity of Cyrillian engine rooms. The luminous Accord floated in a massive internal dock, looking delicate and almost fragile amid the human machinery. "The main problem is your quantum regulator," Layla explained, pointing to a holographic display of Ilara's ship. The pulsar radiation altered its resonance frequency, which cascaded through your entire system. Ilara studied the display with growing amazement. The human had not only identified the source of the failure, but mapped the entire quantum cascade effect, something that would challenge even Cyrillian engineers. This component can only be manufactured on Cyrilia, Ilara said. It requires quantum entanglement processes unique to our technology. Layla nodded, unfazed. Figured as much. So instead of replacing it, we're going to bypass it. She showed another diagram, this one displaying an intricate network of alternative pathways through the ship's systems. It won't restore full functionality, but it should get life support, basic propulsion, and communications online again. It was an inelegant solution by Cyrilian standards, a patchwork of workarounds rather than the perfect harmony of the original design. Yet the underlying principles were sound, even innovative. This shouldn't work, Ilara said, tracing a particular pathway on the display. The quantum resonance would be too unstable. That's what these buffer units are for. Layla pointed to components that were clearly of human design. They're not as elegant as your technology, but they're adaptable. They'll absorb the resonance variations and convert them to usable energy. Over the next 2 days, Ilara worked alongside the human engineering team. Despite her limited technical knowledge, she found herself contributing meaningfully to the repair effort. The humans approached problems differently than Cyrilians, where her people sought perfect, elegant solutions through extensive theory and modeling. Humans preferred practical experimentation and rapid iteration. Try this, Layla said at one point, handing Ilara a modified component. It's based on your quantum buffer design, but with our materials. Should handle the resonance fluctuations better. The hybrid approach yielded results faster than Ilara would have thought possible. By the end of the second day, the Luminous Accord's life support was fully functional again, and they had restored 30% power to the propulsion system. Enough for limited movement, though not for quantum travel. On the third day, Captain Hernandez invited Ilara to join the senior crew for dinner. It's tradition, she explained, a way for us to get to know each other better. The meal was less formal than the diplomatic dinners Ilara was accustomed to. The officers sat around a circular table, passing dishes family style and engaging in conversation that flowed freely between professional and personal topics. "So, Commander," asked the navigation officer, a young human named Raj, "what exactly brings a Cyrilian diplomat to this remote sector?" Ilara hesitated, weighing protocol against gratitude. "I was en route to meet with representatives of the Altarian Collective. There is to be a vote in the Galactic Concord on new territorial designations." "The Altarians," Captain Hernandez said thoughtfully. "We've had limited contact with them, cautious but fair in our experience." The security chief, a weathered human named Taurus, leaned forward. "Word is they're considering allowing human mining operations in the sickness sector. That your business?" Ilara blinked in surprise. "The negotiations were supposed to be confidential. You are well-informed for a species not yet formally recognized by the Concord." The table went quiet. Ilara realized too late how her words might sound to her hosts. To her surprise, Captain Hernandez laughed. "We get that a lot. Humanity's a bit like the uninvited guest at the galactic dinner party. But we bring good wine." The tension dissipated, and conversation moved to lighter topics. Ilara found herself relaxing, even enjoying the informal interaction. She was particularly intrigued by Dr. Khan's questions about Cyrilian art and literature. The humans seemed genuinely fascinated by aspects of Cyrilian culture that had nothing to do with technology or politics. Their meal was interrupted by an alert. "Captain, to the bridge," came a voice over the communication system. "We're detecting unusual energy readings ahead." On the bridge, the main view screen showed empty space, but the sensor displays were alive with activity. "Some kind of quantum distortion," reported the science officer, a human female named Chen. "It's directly in our path to the nearest starbase." "Can't we go around it?" Captain Hernandez asked. "We have to add at least 5 days to our journey," Raj replied from the navigation console, "and we're already running low on some critical supplies." "What happens if we go through it?" Chen frowned. "Unknown, but there's a high probability it would disrupt our systems, possibly catastrophically. Our shields weren't designed for quantum fluctuations of this magnitude. Layla added from the engineering station. "We'd be taking a significant risk." Ilara studied the sensor data with growing concern. She stepped forward. "Captain, if I may, I recognize this phenomenon. It's a quantum fold, a rare spacetime event that occurs in regions with certain subspace characteristics." All eyes turned to her. Captain Hernandez gestured for her to continue. "They're highly dangerous to vessels with conventional shielding," Ilara explained. "The quantum resonance patterns can destabilize molecular bonds in standard hull materials. So we definitely can't go through it," Layla concluded. "Not with your shields," Ilara agreed. "But Cyrilian quantum harmonic shields were specifically designed to navigate such phenomena." She hesitated, then added, "My ship, even in its damaged state, could provide a template for modifying your shield generators." "Is that possible?" Captain Hernandez asked Layla. The engineer looked thoughtful. "Theoretically, yes. It would require precise calibration to match the quantum resonance patterns of the Cyrilian shields." She turned to Ilara. "Would you be willing to share your shield specifications? Those are probably classified by your government." Ilara faced a choice. The shield design was indeed classified. Sharing it with humans would violate at least 4 different High Council directives. Yet these humans had saved her life, worked tirelessly to repair her ship, and treated her with respect despite the known Cyrilian attitude toward their species. "I would need to help with the modifications," she said finally, "to ensure they're done correctly." Captain Hernandez smiled. "I think we can arrange that, Commander." Over the next 12 hours, Ilara worked alongside Layla and her engineering team. Together, they'd modified the Pathfinder's shield generators, integrating elements of Cyrilian quantum harmonics with human power distribution systems. It was an unprecedented approach that would have horrified Cyrilian purists, but the results were promising. "Ready for testing," Layla announced finally. She looked at Ilara. "Would you like to do the honors?" Ilara activated the modified shields. The ship hummed with energy as the new configuration came online. On the monitoring screens, the shield pattern appeared, not the standard human design, nor pure Cyrilian, but something new that incorporated elements of both. "Shield integrity at 94%, reported an engineer. "Quantum harmonic stable." "Not bad for improvisation," Layla said, smiling at Ilara. As they approached the quantum fold, Ilara joined the bridge crew at Captain Hernandez's invitation. The phenomenon was visible now, a shimmering distortion in the fabric of space, like heat waves on a desert horizon. "All stations, prepare for transit," the captain ordered. "Commander Vos, any last-minute advice?" "The passage may be uncomfortable," Ilara cautioned. "Quantum resonance can create sensory distortions." Captain Hernandez nodded. "Noted. Helm, take us in." 1/4 impulse. The Pathfinder moved forward, towing the luminous accord behind it. As they entered the quantum fold, reality seemed to bend around them. Colors shifted, sounds distorted, and for a moment, Ilara felt her consciousness expand beyond her physical form. A common Cyrilian experience during quantum travel, but likely disorienting for humans. To her surprise, the crew maintained their composure, each focused on their duties despite the sensory strangeness. When a power fluctuation threatened to destabilize the shields, Layla made rapid adjustments, working in perfect synchronization with her team. After what seemed both an instant and an eternity, they emerged on the other side. "All systems operational," reported Chen. "Shields held at 87% throughout transit." "Damage report?" Captain Hernandez asked. "Minor power fluctuations in non-essential systems," Layla replied. "Nothing we can't handle." The captain turned to Ilara with a smile. "It seems our collaboration was successful, Commander." 2 days later, they'd reached the Arcturus starbase, where Ilara would transfer to a Cyrilian vessel for her journey home. The repairs to the luminous accord were sufficient for short-range travel, though a complete overhaul would be needed before it was fully operational again. As she prepared to depart, The senior crew gathered to bid her farewell. "The High Council will be informed of your assistance," Ilara told them formally. "Your actions reflect credit upon your species." Captain Hernandez smiled. "Just doing what anyone would do out here in the black, Commander. Space is too vast and empty for travelers not to help each other." Dr. Khan stepped forward. "I've prepared detailed medical notes on your treatment. They might be useful for future interactions between our species. And I've documented all our repairs," Layla added, "including the shield modifications. The hybrid design performed better than either original in some respects." Ilara accepted the data crystals they offered. "Your contributions will be valuable to my people." She hesitated, then added more personally, "I must confess that my preconceptions about humans have been significantly revised during my time aboard your vessel." "We tend to have that effect on people," Captain Hernandez said with a wink. "Safe travels, Commander. Perhaps next time we meet, it will be at a formal diplomatic function rather than a rescue." "Perhaps," Ilara agreed, "though I find I rather prefer the honesty of the latter." As she boarded her ship and prepared for departure, Ilara reflected on the unexpected journey. She had left Cyrelia as a representative of one of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, secure in her people's technological and cultural superiority. She returned humbled, yet somehow expanded, her understanding of humanity and perhaps of her own people forever changed by the experience. In the vastness of space, she had found not just rescue, but a reminder that true advancement came in many forms, not all of them measured by the age of a civilization or the elegance of its technology. Sometimes, it came in the simple willingness to extend a hand across the stars. The luminous accord separated from the Pathfinder, its quantum drives humming with a hybrid energy signature that symbolized what was possible when different approaches converge. As she plotted her course home, Ilara made a personal vow to advocate for a formal reassessment of humanity's status in galactic affairs.